Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Savvy. Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a nice video for you guys. We're going to be doing some graphic settings, just some things to make your game pop color-wise, just some things to make it easier for you to see when you're playing in game trying to go for those wins. Um, just some general knowledge things that you should probably already know. Some in-game settings, some PC settings that you guys can change that maybe not too many people know about because I didn't, and some monitor things that you can change depending on what monitor you have. You can probably change some settings that you didn't know about or probably do know about. Just everything in general so that you guys can, get a little advantage when it comes to seeing or being able to see, because there's a lot going on Apex in general. If you play, there's all types of things that take you away from actually looking at your enemy. So before we get into this video, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're new. It's free, you know what I mean? It doesn't cost you a penny to subscribe, and it's greatly appreciated if you guys subscribe. It helps the channel tremendously. Also, we just opened up our Discord. If it'll be in the description, the link below. If you guys want to hang out or just come to the Discord, just talk, or give me video ideas on what I should do next, or give me some advice on videos in general, you guys come to the Discord, hang out, come chill. OCE players, if you guys join the Discord and I'm ever streaming, or you guys want to join up and play, it's a great way to do that. Also, there'll be some giveaways in the near future that I'll be doing on Discord for joining, and so that's new and that's fun. So if you guys want to join that, like I said, it'll be in the description. It'll be a link, just click it, join up, all good. Also, I will more than likely be streaming whenever you're watching this video. I stream Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday and Sunday, but majority Monday through Friday. Come hang out and stream. We're trying to get affiliate, so make sure you guys follow. Greatly appreciate it. Also free. And without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so graphic settings. Majority of this is going to be tailored for PC, so I apologize to my console players. I was a console player for quite some time. Recently switched over to PC. As you can see, I'm level 91, so short grind, but we're getting there, learning some of the aspects of PC. But it's if anybody's ever wondering if they should make the change from console to PC, 100%. Okay, 100%. But back on topic, a lot of this is going to be tailored for PC. There's a few things towards the end of the video that will be for console players. I'll try to incorporate some things for console to get some type of better graphics, but console players and just people and everybody in general, just watch the video in its entirety so that you guys can get the overall best settings that you possibly can. So while you're in Apex, let's head straight over to your graphic settings in your video. Don't pay attention to these just yet. I was just testing some things. Like I said, watch the video in its entirety so that you guys can get exactly what you should be running and what I think, for me personally, is the best settings. Now I run a MSI 10th gen. GPU is a I think it's a, I don't even know. I think it's a 1080. I don't know. Hold on, we can check right now. How about that? Intel i7 107F. I am running 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I don't exactly know what my graphics card is. Oh, actually I do. It's a 1660 Super Ti. So these are the settings that are tailored to me specifically. If you have a better system, obviously you can probably run something higher than this. If you have a lower setting, then I'll probably give you the best settings for low. First of all, for everybody in general, for everybody running on PC, you should be running full screen. Full screen gives you the best performance possible and your best frame rate. You should always be running full screen no matter what. Windowed, I mean, if you have to run windowed mode, if you have a lower end PC, then I mean, go for it. But I mean, even full screen in like a lower, like 1280 by 720 would probably be better than running windowed. So that's first of all. Your aspect ratio 16:9. It's my native, so I just run this by default, and 1920 by 1080 native. Again, it's just by default. There are some videos out there on how to get stretch res for Apex Legends. Just a general statement. It just kind of makes it. It's like a placebo effect. It makes you feel like your targets are bigger because the screen looks more stretched, but in reality, it's the exact same. The hitboxes, the character models, everything's exactly the same. It's kind of just like a placebo thing. It makes you feel like the characters are bigger. So if you're interested in a stretch res video, I watched a really good video on that. I can link it below to the channel that I was in. And they can probably tell you how to get stretch res. I don't do stretch res, so I really don't know how to do it or the process to that. Brightness is personal preference. It's whatever you feel in general is good for your brightness. My brightness is set to the configurations that I'm going to tell you later. So mine's at 65%. You guys can have higher and lower, like I said, based on the configurations that we do later. Field of view, also personal preference. I know a lot of people that run max, a lot of people that run 90. I personally like to run right around 100. I feel like 90 is a little too close, and I feel like 110 is a little too far. So like that sweet spot for me is right at 100. Depending on the day, sometimes I'll go down to 90, and then sometimes I'll go up to 110. It all depends on, how I feel. Sprint view shake, I always keep this on minimum. Like I said, the description of it says strength of view movement when sprinting. You don't really want to have too much of that because it takes you off of your target and what you're actually looking at when you're in full sprint. So keep that on minimum. VSync is actually computer based. So whatever your specific computer is able to run, I would look into your specs and see if you should be running VSync or should not be running VSync. I personally just keep VSync off. I've experimented with triple buffered and adaptive 1.5 rate. I mean, I personally, for my PC, feel like I can just keep it disabled and it's just fine. I like it disabled, but it's definitely PC based. It's what your PC is able to run, and you should probably do some research. I can link a good article about VSync in the description so you guys can get a little more understanding. There's a video I know about that you can do, and that'll probably have to be a separate video if you want to do get in depth with VSync, because there's no way I can explain that the whole VSync per PC base in this video. The video Reflex, this is a new-ish configuration that Apex has brought. A lot of games are getting it now with the new graphics cards that are coming out. If you have this option available, definitely use Enable Plus Boost. It reduces system latency and increases PC responsiveness. So basically, if you're running Enable Plus Boost, it just makes your game feel more crisp, more direct. When you do something, it's more instant. So that's always great. You should have that on Enable Plus Boost at all times. Okay, moving on. Anti-aliasing. Anti-aliasing is a per system basis. It will having it almost smooth the images out so that it's not as jagged. So some of your image quality won't look so defined. I mean, it will look defined. It'll just look a little more edgy, if that word makes sense to you guys. But it also will increase your GPU load. So if you're running a lower end PC, I recommend just having this on none. Like I said, I run a i7 with a 1660 Super, so it's okay to have it on, but I just don't see the necessity. I'm fine with the jagged lines. it kind of makes everything a little more crisp for me, so it works out. Texture streaming budget. This is something that I feel like people might not know about, or I get a misunderstanding about it. I run mine on very high. It actually has no effect on your FPS at all. You can test it for yourself as well. I used to run it on very low, because I assumed that this is directly correlated into my FPS, and if it does affect the FPS, which I'm pretty sure it does not, it's very minimum. Like I said, I run 16 gigabytes of RAM, so as long as you have that threshold of 6 gigabytes, which I'm assuming most PCs do, and if you don't, like I said, and you're running a lower end PC, whatever your gigabytes are, even if you're running like an 8, maybe run it at high, just give it 4 gigabytes of RAM, so it has like an extra 4 to be able to process anything else that's going on in your PC. But anything at the 1632 mark, just run it at 6, very high. I mean, I've even played on Insane where it says that I don't have the streaming budget for this, and I still run it perfectly fine. There's no issues with it whatsoever. But just to be safe, I run it on very high, so there's no issues. Texture filtering. I think this is the one where you have to be a little careful, because it also again puts a load on your GPU. So if you're not running a high GPU, then you probably should turn this down. If you're running a decent GPU, anything at the 1080, 1660, 2080, or anything higher than that, just max it out. It helps your textures and controls the sharpness of everything. So if you're running a decent graphics card, just max it out. And per GPUs that are not so great, just test it. Go around, see what the best setting is for you. Super low end PCs, bilinear, off, just offer it. Don't even go any further than that. Just keep it right there. But if you have anything higher than a 1080, like I said, test around here, test to see what you guys are capable of running. Like I said, I run a 16, I run it at max. Ambient occlusion quality, I keep it disabled. Sun shadows and sun coverage, I keep that on low. I don't bother with any of this spot shadow details. All this keep it on low. So the model detail, effect detail, and ragdolls, keep that on low. There's no reason for you to be running that at all, unless you're like I said, unless you're running a supercomputer and you just want to max it all out just because, then go for it. But for performance wise, just keep it on low. The only thing that you can probably play around with is impact marks, and with impact marks, it's just the seeing the bullets, where the bullets are hitting into the wall. So I mean, it could help you in a certain situation to see where you're shooting, or if you're in the gun range and you're trying to track your recoil and you want to see where your bullets are going, then turn impact marks on. But for me, it doesn't really matter. I just completely turn it off. So that covers the actual in-game video settings. Like I said, a lot of these are per system basis and personal preference, but the majority of the people should be running these settings right here if you're running a decent PC. So now we're going to jump into the actual PC configurations. So if you're running in a NVIDIA like I am, you can kind of follow along with me. I will leave a link in the description for AMD, because unfortunately I don't have an AMD Radeon card, but I'll leave a link to how you can do the exact same thing that I'm going to do for NVIDIA right now. So if you have a NVIDIA graphics card, just right click on your home screen and go to NVIDIA control panel. And as your NVIDIA control panel opens up, you're going to go to adjust desktop color settings. So in it, what you want to do is, these are the things you want to play around with. I wouldn't play around with gamma. I would leave that alone. And the hue, I would leave where it is. But digital vibrance and your brightness, that's what you want to play around with. Digital vibrance is it's what gives you that color pop. So depending on how much like color you want and how much you want it to pop and stand out, then move that bar. I have mine at 75%. I've been playing around with it. This is personal preference completely, so you don't have to copy mine. But 75 for me is, I play around in between the 65 to 80 range, depending on the day. And my brightness, like I said, when I told you that I had it on 65 in game, that's why I have mine at 55. So more than likely, I'll turn that down because I feel like it's a little bright for me. But when I really want everything to pop and everything to stand out, I'll turn that to 60 and keep my digital vibrance at about 80. So that's where you want to change. And if you have more than one display and you want it on both monitors for whatever reason, if you want to change your second monitor, your third monitor, etc., then you need to click on each monitor and do the exact same thing. That way it's not this monitor only and then not the other monitor as well. So that's NVIDIA control. There's also something that you can do as well for NVIDIA users. If you open up your GeForce Experience bar and go to game filters, if my game filters were open, or do I need to be on a game? And you go to game filters, you can add a filter, and there's some options here as well. Brightness and contrast, black and white, color, colorblind, depth of field, etc. A lot of these settings are very unuseful, but other than brightness and contrast, brightness and contrast is something you might want to play around with. I mean, if you want to just have fun and just kind of goof off, you can play with the rest of these, but they're really not going to help you in the long run. They're actually going to hurt you. But brightness and contrast is something that you can use that will help you with your colors and helping you see a little better. So that's also something you can do. So the last thing that you can go over and that will help you guys out is your monitor. Now, depending on what monitor you're running, you can play around with some of these settings. I don't know if it'll come up on my screen if I click it. No, it doesn't. So what you can do is wherever your controls are for your monitor, I'm running a HP 144 hertz monitor. It has a brightness, contrast, and dynamic contrast settings on my monitor itself. Now, my advice would be, once you've applied all the settings that we just went over just a second ago, then come to your monitor and play around with these settings. Now, this also applies for console. Now, any changes that you've made on console, I don't remember the video settings on console for Apex Legends, I apologize, but whatever settings that you change in Apex, whether on console, whether it be your brightness or your, I think that's the only thing you're able to change, if I'm not mistaken, your brightness. I would come to your monitor and I would change some of the contrast and the brightness on your monitor as well. That way you can get that extra amount of contrast and brightness that you normally wouldn't be able to get because you're on console and you guys are kind of, limited on what you're able to do. So that's something that I don't know if a lot of people are doing. I don't know if a lot of people have made those changes, but I would definitely change your brightness and contrast. And also, a lot of monitors have like color inputs, just like presets that you can change. There's also just go through your monitor settings and you'll see that there's a lot of settings that you're able to change in there to help you guys get a little more ability to see. Like I said, it's depending on the monitor settings. So yeah, guys, that is graphic settings to help you with being able to see a little better, get a couple more kills, and get that win for Apex Legends. Like I said, hit that like button if this video was at all helpful to you. Subscribe to the channel. We do videos like this all the time. Other videos, montages are coming, gameplays, etc. Like I said, the Discord is in the description. Check out my other socials. I'll be posting there a lot more. And like I said, Twitch. Twitch TV.savvyau. I will be streaming Monday through Friday-ish. I'm trying to keep that the schedule. I don't really stream on weekends. I kind of keep that separate for family stuff. But I might throw in a Saturday or Sunday stream or something like that. But that's the video, guys. Love you. Take care of yourself. Peace.